Gibbons versus Ogden. My name is Thomas Gibbons. I was given permission to utilize the Hudson waterways by the federal government. However, Aaron Ogden took me to court because he claimed that the state of New York had given him the right to operate the Hudson River. I believe that I am justified in accessing the Hudson River because the federal government granted me access over the river. My name is Aaron Ogden. I was given an exclusive license from the state of New York to operate the Hudson River in 1807. So, when Gibbons tried to operate the Hudson as well, we had a disagreement. I took Thomas Gibbons to court in 1824 because I believe that I am the one who should operate the Hudson River, since I have the right from New York first.
In the early 1800s, the government had started to begin creating different ways of transportation like roads and canals. The national government used these ways of transportation as a source for income in commercial commerce. However, many rivalries were created on who had the right to operate and collect fees on the canals and roads.
Robert Fulton, the creator of the steamboat, and Robert Livingston, Fulton's partner, had received a long-term contract with New York to fully operate the Hudson River. Fulton, Livingston, and the New York legislature gave Aaron Ogden a license to operate the steamboat on the Hudson River between New Jersey and New York.
On the other side, Gibbons only received federal government permission to operate steamboat commerce on the Hudson River. He had never received a license from the state of New York, Fulton, or Livingston to operate any sort of steamboat between New York and New Jersey. So this angered Ogden, which led him taking Gibbons to court.
The main controversy and debate on the Gibbons versus Ogden case was the Commerce Clause in the Constitution. They debated on what the word commerce meant in the Constitution. For example, they debated whether state permission ruled over national government permission on the subject of regulation of commerce.
Gibbons urged the court to look at commerce on a bigger scale, since it would make the ruling in his favor. If the court looked at it on a bigger scale, then the court would allow the federal government's permission to overrule the state of New York's permission on who operated the Hudson River.
Ogden's argument had the opposite point of view. He urged the court to take a narrower point of view on the use of the word commerce, because it would convince the court to allow state permission to overrule federal government's decision on who operates commercial commerce on the Hudson River.
The Chief of Justice in the Supreme Court, John Marshall, was overall in favor for Thomas Gibbons. He attempted to convince the rest of the court that federal government had power over all the states. He firmly believed the federal government had supremacy in the government. Overall, no one was in favor of Ogden. Most of the court was in favor of Gibbons. This was because most of the court was on John Marshall's side of the case. Although Ogden attempted to convince the court otherwise, they all had agreed with John Marshall and wanted to support Gibbons' argument. Since John Marshall and the entire court was for Thomas Gibbons, he won the case. The ruling of the Supreme Court in the end was 6-0 for Gibbons. Although Ogden put up a fight, in the end, no one was in his favor. He lost operation of steamboats in the Hudson River. The Supreme Court decided to go with Gibbons because Marshall believed that the states should yield to federal power, because the federal government governs over the states. Since the entire Supreme Court was with John Marshall, they also believed in his declaration and decision on going with Thomas Gibbons.
The Gibbons versus Ogden case was extremely significant because it had finally established that federal government had supremacy and power over the states in a decision. But the decision was that the federal government overruled states in the problems of commercial and foreign commerce.
This court case eventually had many effects on America. For example, since the court case analyzed the Constitution's use of the word commerce, it gave the Commerce Clause legal elasticity, and it later was extended to other ways of transportation and federal regulation like airlines and television stations.
Free created using Powtoon.